How's it going, guys? What of course you'll be seeing today, as you see some L96 highlights here, is some basically sniping or recon highlights that'll feature a few different weapons. As you see, the L96, my trusted M98B, the SRR-61, and I'm pretty sure you'll see the gold magnum mixed in there as well. And a quick breakdown, as like I usually do. It's my most popular series, and basically what it is I take the sniping highlights or interesting moments, or even non-interesting moments. It ain't a skill showcase. It doesn't matter there. It's never what it's been about. It's about me taking recon matches that would basically not be good enough to post on their own, but I figure I can make a video out of it and piece it together. And again, most of you guys seem to like it, so I'll continue with it. And basically what I wanted to talk about today is sort of the big news that came out a couple of days ago, but I haven't been near my PC, and I'll be going camping this weekend, so I won't be anywhere near my PC for 3-4 days again. But basically with the news that came out basically is there will be a patch, and I mean it'll be a big patch, and it'll be a very influential patch that'll be coming out in sometime in September. The ideal time frame is what DICE listed, that will completely change the fundamentals of Battlefield 4 as it stands. And whether that's good or bad, we'll have to see, but I mean it should be good, because I mean this game was completely broken when it came out in November. Clearly rushed out, but as much as it's improved quite significantly, there are still a lot of lingering effects that ideally will be addressed in this patch. And what I'm aiming to do in this commentary behind the highlights here is to show you and tell you what they're going to be working on with as much details as I know. But of course, everything is subject to change, because I mean they don't even know completely what they're going to be doing until the moment it's released. But that being said, before I start and tell you about it, all of this information here is based, and everything that they've changed is being thoroughly tested out in CTE, or the community test environment. If you don't know what it is, it's exclusive to PC, so if you're on console, it's unfortunate you can't really do any of this testing. But what you do is you log into this community test environment, and they basically do fundamental changes. Like they'll change weapon balance, they'll change map layout, they'll change MCOM locations, and everyone that gets a chance to test them out basically gives feedback to DICE on what should work, what shouldn't work, what should be changed, what shouldn't be changed, and they basically take that information, process it, and pump out the changes accordingly. So that's how it works for that. And the ideal point, at least, is that because it's being tested, that it should be balanced, and it should be a more fun balance in terms of just making a change, throwing it out, and letting us test it, sort of like they did for the vanilla launch. But basically, yeah, I'll get into basically everything that's supposed to come out in this early September patch, and I'll break it down. So here we go. First things first, what they're going to do is game mode improvements. I put that in quotations. And it's listed as general improvements and tweaks that have been made in terms of the following game modes. And that's Rush, Obliteration, Obliteration Competitive, which if you're not sure what Obliteration Competitive is, it's sort of similar to Counter-Strike in that basically it's 5-on-5. You have the one bomb, obviously, and then you have to try and plant it on the bomb site. It's a smaller map, so it's not as large, and it's more infantry-focused combat, so it's similar to Counter-Strike. Capture the flag and Carrier Assault. Carrier Assault had a big bug where after about 10 minutes, the matches would just end. So, and in that time frame, most of the time, you don't even get a chance to breach the carrier. It would just be over before you even got a chance to breach it. So that's, I don't know whether that's a server-side fix or not, but needless to say, it should be fixed. In terms of Rush, there were a lot of fundamental changes that were thrown out for Siege of Shanghai, Zavod 311, and Flood Zone. Flood Zone being the biggest one that I've seen. For all of the Rush changes, they basically tweaked where the MCOMs are. They took out and put in some cover. I know in Siege of Shanghai Rush, they definitely took out the attack chopper, or the transport chopper, because everyone would just use it to sit on the roofs and camp. But I know for the biggest one was Flood Zone. They completely reversed it. Like they reversed the layout of the map. At first, you would start in that sort of bog lagoon area, and you'd fight toward the city. But this time, in the CTE change, and probably what will be coming out in the patch, is that you fight in the city and then you fight to the lagoon. Like they completely put a 180 on how you're supposed to fight. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, in terms of visual recoil, it says close and medium range optic reticles do not move with the gun any longer. However, bullet spread and bullet drop are still present. So this will basically be at least a cosmetic appearance on how it looks. But I do find it quite weird that the gun recoil, or like at least the visual look on how the gun looks. Basically, as you fire, the optic doesn't move, which seems extremely weird. It seems extraordinarily unrealistic, but visual recoil in itself, just the way it was designed, was sort of dumb too. So I guess I'll have to see how it plays out. I didn't like visual recoil at all, at least in how they implemented it. But to completely remove sort of the optics not moving with the gun any longer, again, sort of seems a little weird. Maybe we'll see how, again, because they're going to be tweaking suppression as well, so we'll see just how the guns behave as you shoot and how you're being shot at, and maybe how you react as the bullet hits you, whether your character model flinches, etc. We'll see. Soldier movement, the next one, and it says changes have been made in terms of soldier movement that closely match Battlefield 3's soldier movement without compromising visual fidelity. So basically what they're saying there is that your character's going to move exactly the same way it looks in Battlefield right now. That will not be changed whatsoever. That being said, how it moves, like maybe the speed, the acceleration, the fact that you don't have to sort of take 2-3 steps to get to full speed like you did in Battlefield 4 will be completely overhauled and changed. So we'll see how that works. And it says this change also makes it easier to get away from undesirable firefights. So again, that's probably removing a bit of that acceleration that the character in Battlefield 4 needs to get up to top speed. And it says, additionally, we've dampened third-person hit reactions when the soldier previously moved his head around when being shot at. So, again, we'll see how that plays out. I've never really noticed that one as much, to be honest, as I read it. But, again, I guess enough people complained about it. The next one's HUD triage, which is something I'm ecstatic about. It says it's focusing on clarity and decluttering the HUD or the UI to only show what's important. It says we've added several options and functionality to make your screen much less cluttered and give you a lot of choice in making it the way you want, which is music to my ears. I'm ecstatic about this. This is something I've wanted since the game came out. Whenever I play on larger infantry maps, especially the new Dragon's Teeth ones, there's so much HUD clutter that a lot of the time, if I see movement and I figure, oh, it's my teammate because I'm looking at a flag that happens to be blue, I get gunned down and killed by an enemy because I just simply couldn't figure out if it was an enemy or a teammate. And it's just, oh, there's too much of it. And the ability to especially have functionality to sort of customize it the way I want, that's perfect. I'm ecstatic. That might even extend the length of how long I play Battlefield 4 for. So... Again, we'll see. But that one I'm ecstatic about. It says revive mechanic improvements. Again, this is something I'm really looking forward to as well. It says a special effort went into making revives easier to use, more robust, and easier to understand. Additions includes a fully charged paddle sound and UI indication of revive time and better networked ragdolls. So what they're basically saying with that is that the dead bodies, you're going to be able to get a better understanding of how they are. They won't be hidden in the ground. You won't have to worry about like medic bags and ammo bags disrupting your chance at reviving a guy. But on top of that, a fully charged paddle sound will basically distinguish between if a guy's fully charged, of course, and whether you give him a quick 20% revive. And revive time. You'll have sort of a ring around the revive icon that basically gives you an idea of the timing. So whether you want to cross the map to try and revive a guy or leave him, at least you'll have the time indication of whether or not you can make it or not. And of course, netcode improvements. It says making ping differences, trade kills, and kills behind cover much less of an issue by lowering the time allowed to damage on client side. It says automatic high-frequency update settings enforced with the intent to release to all platforms, including Xbox 360 and PS3, with improvements to bullet damage times from client to client, dusting, and desyncs. So basically, the majority you should get out of that comment is basically that between trade kills and kills behind cover, ideally will be reduced and less of an issue. Music to my ears. It says vehicle balance. We are identifying and tweaking the top vehicles in need of buffs and nerfs. And weapon balance is the other thing the last you should know of, is that we're focusing on maintaining a consistent time to kill, which basically how long an engagement lasts for. And with changes to visual recoil, the third-person hit reactions, and improved tick rates have sped up somewhat, as we need to still balance this with damage and recoil changes. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by this, but from what I've seen, they are changing the damage models of some weapons, the fire rates of some weapons, accordingly, I guess, to try and strike a balance between engagement time so that one guy isn't getting an immediate quick kill and another guy's getting a long time to kill. But again, I will update you guys more as we know. But that's it. As far as I've seen in terms of those changes, they all ideally on paper sound like very welcome changes this game should have probably had at launch back last November. But that being said, they do sound like they're going to be welcome improvements to the game. The HUD triage, the revive meter, very big. Netcode, of course, is something that everyone wants. Or hit detection, I hate calling it netcode. Hit detection will be something that everyone welcomes, but again, these are the changes they're putting on paper. These are the ones they are implementing, but of course we won't see how they play out and how much improvements they are until we actually play this thing into September. But this is what it is. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you like the sniping highlights. See you later, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.